Hello there guys, it's me again, UnstableVoltage, and in today's How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, we're going to be taking a look at another machine from the Gregtech mod. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Industrial Grinder. The Industrial Grinder does the same task as a macerator or pulverizer, but it does it much more efficiently. It also gives us some useful secondary byproducts, including some of the more difficult to acquire minerals such as titanium. The Industrial Grinder is a multi-block machine, very similar to the Industrial Blast Furnace that we built a few episodes ago. And in much the same way, it is made from a single block, which is the Industrial Grinder itself, and a large 3x3 cube made from machine casings. In order to build the Industrial Grinder, you will already need to have an Industrial Blast Furnace in order to make the steel that is required to make the reinforced machine casings. So let's pop on over to the workshop and see what bits and pieces we need for this project. Well, I'm not going to lie to you, we're going to need a lot of stuff, including yet more diamonds. Now there's a few bits and pieces we need to put together that we haven't put together before, and a few bits and pieces that we have, so I'm going to show you what we need. First of all, you're going to need to make some diamond grinders. To do that, you're going to need a diamond in the middle on a crafting table, 4 diamond dust in each of the 4 corners, and you can get the diamond dust by putting the diamonds into the macerator or grinder, and 4 steel ingots, which we demonstrated how to make in the last video in our Industrial Blast Furnace, and there we go, we have 2 diamond grinders. Now you're actually going to need to make 3 in total, so you'll need to go through that process again. After you have your diamond grinders, you're going to need to make your machine casings. Now, the standard machine casing, which we already made before for the Industrial Blast Furnace, is a standard machine block in the middle, an electronic circuit either side, and then 6 refined iron, 3 across the top and 3 across the bottom, and that will make 4 standard machine casings. In total, you're going to need to have 18 of those. You're also going to need reinforced machine casings, and to make those you need an advanced machine block in the middle, an advanced circuit either side, and then you're going to need 6 steel ingots, again which we made in the blast furnace last episode, across the top and across the bottom. So the recipe's the same, except we're swapping reinforced iron for steel, a machine block for an advanced machine block, and the electronic circuits for an advanced circuit. That will give us 4 reinforced machine casings. We need 8 of those, so I'm going to go off and make another 4. One of the next things we need to make is a couple of mining pipes. Now they're nice and easy. You need to start by making a tap, a tree tap, which is that shape, using wooden planks. So 3 across the middle, 1 at the top, in the middle, and 1 at the bottom left. In total you're going to need 2 of those, so might as well make 2 of them right now. There we are, 2 tree taps. And in order to make the mining pipes, it's quite simple. You need 6 refined iron, 3 down each side, with a tree tap at the bottom, and that will give you 8 mining pipes. You only need 2 of those, so you can put the rest in storage. And the reason for building the mining pipes is we need to make a pump. Now this is an Industrial Craft pump, not a Buildcraft pump. It does pretty much the same thing, but it's required for this recipe. So we need a machine block in the middle, an electronic circuit above, we need a mining pipe in the bottom 2 corners, left and right, 4 empty cells, which are just made from tin in the top 2 slots on either side, and our remaining tree tap goes at the bottom middle, and that gives us our Industrial Craft pump. So now we just need to grab a few more bits and pieces and we're ready to start with the grinder. So everything else that we need is something we've built before in a previous video. We need to take our Industrial Craft pump that we've just made, and that goes in the top right hand corner, an industrial electrolyzer in the top left hand corner, advanced machine block in the bottom middle, our 3 diamond grinders need to go in the 3 slots across the middle, and then 3 advanced circuits in the remaining 3 slots, and that will give us our Industrial Grinder. So let's take that and pop outside to the site we're going to place it. Okay, so here we are outside. This is our Industrial Blast Furnace, which we built a few videos ago now, and the industrial grinder is pretty much going to be the same size, so I'm going to place it next to it and sort of mirror the placement. We do have a big bank of solar panels that I've used to replace the generators, just because I don't like to go around collecting coal. Now, the industrial grinder does actually take 128 EU per tick, which is what you get output from an MFE, but you have to make sure that it's connected via good quality cables, and if the power source is being shared by other machines, make sure they're not running at the same time, because if you're not getting the full 128 EU per tick to the industrial grinder, it might not work. So let's look about placement. So I've got my reinforced machine casings and my standard machine casings. Now, the gap between the MFE and the industrial blast furnace is 3 blocks, so I'm going to count 3 blocks the other way, 1, 2, 3, and pop it there. So we need to take 9 of our standard machine casings and build a solid 3x3 block on the floor. There we go. Now, before I build the rest of it, there's one other thing that I want to do. Now, the industrial grinder, as well as a supply of power, is also going to need a constant supply of water. So what I'm going to do is, over here, I'm going to get my shovel and I'm going to... what's a good gap? Should we leave it 3 again? Leave it another 3. Okay, let's go 4. And I'm going to dig a 2 deep hole that is 1 wide and 3 long. There we go. Let's just pick up all the junk that's in there. Now, I also have with me here an aqueous accumulator again. Now, that needs to go in the middle at the bottom, which I will do, and just use it to nerd pole out of the hole as well. So what I'm going to do here, I've got 2 buckets of water. And we made the aqueous accumulator before when we made our multi-farm. I'm going to put the 2 buckets of water in the 2 spaces either side of the aqueous accumulator. And let's just get rid of those buckets. I'm going to take my dirt and fill in the top 2 holes just to cover the water. So now we've got our aqueous accumulator exposed 1 block down with water either side of it, and the water's all nicely covered up. And I've brought along with me some Buildcraft tanks, and what I'm going to do is just pop those on top of the aqueous accumulator. If I can get the top one on. There we go. And what that will do, without any power at all, that will start to fill the tank with water, and that water supply should pretty much last forever. So while that's filling up, because there's a reason I wanted that to fill up while I did this, so we've got our 3x3 solid block of standard machine casings. Now we need to take our reinforced machine casings, and they need to go on the 2nd level, and of course, because you've only got 8, you have a gap in the middle. Now, unlike the industrial blast furnace, which is 4 blocks high, this is only going to be 3 blocks high, and the middle 2 empty blocks in the industrial blast furnace have lava in them. Likewise, this is going to require something, but what it actually needs is water. So, got one of my empty buckets, I can right click on this Buildcraft pipe and fill it up. And of course, now I can't get back up where I was, so I'm going to have to nerd pole. There we go. So we put water in the middle, and then we take our remaining 9 standard machine casings and make a solid block on the top. There we go. Let's just get rid of the dirt pile. Now, in order to place our industrial grinder, unlike the industrial blast furnace where it just goes along the side, the industrial grinder must go on the middle block on any of the side faces. So it can't go at the top or bottom, it can't go on the edges, it must go in the middle. So right there, like that. And as you can see, the green lights come on, which now indicates that the machine has transformed into a true multi-block machine. We know it has worked. Now, you can actually put an industrial grinder on each of the 4 sides, so one of these 3x3 blocks can actually work 4 grinders, although it does get messy when you have lots of pipes and wires going into it. So I've also brought along some glass fibre cable, which I'm going to use to connect it up. How did we do it on that side? There, and there. As you know, I'm not really that bothered about automation at the moment, so I haven't really left room for pipes and things, but that's not too much of a problem for me. We also need our waterproof wooden pipe, waterproof stone pipes, redstone engine and a lever, because what we want to do is use the pipe to draw water out from our Buildcraft tanks, and that is going to go up and into our grinder. We need a redstone engine to power that and a lever to turn it on, and we'll give that a few seconds and hopefully the water will start to pump through into the grinder. And while it's doing that, I am going to run off and fetch some minerals. Okay, so now we have a supply of water and power going to our industrial grinder, and as I said at the beginning of this video, it works in much the same way as the macerator and the pulverizer, but we get more materials from our ore. So let's start trying a random selection of ores and see what we get from them. So let's try redstone ore. Put it in the top slot on the left. Bottom one is for water cells if we choose to use those. So one redstone ore has instantly given us 10 redstone and 2 tiny piles of glowstone dust. So we can actually get glowstone without having to go in the nether from redstone. So let's try something else. Let's try diamond. The diamond grinds up. It works very quickly as well. And look what we get from the diamond. We get a diamond. We get 6 tiny piles of diamond dust, and we also get some hydrated coal dust. Let's try something a little more basic like copper. Copper gives us some copper dust. It also gives us a tiny pile of gold dust and a tiny pile of nickel dust. Now let's try tin. And the tin gives us tin dust as we'd expect. We get some iron, tiny pile of iron dust and a tiny pile of zinc dust. So as you can see, we get a decent amount of dust and we also get some tiny piles. The tiny piles, if you have 4 the same, you can make into a normal pile. Let's try it with some coal. So the coal gives us a piece of coal. It also gives us some coal dust and a tiny pile of thorium dust. Let's give it a go with gold ore. So the gold ore gives us 2 piles of gold dust, a tiny pile of copper dust and another tiny pile of nickel dust. Now let's try iron, for example. Okay, the iron gives us 2 piles of iron dust as you'd expect, a tiny pile of tin dust and also another tiny pile of nickel dust. So already we haven't actually got any nickel, but we've already got 3/4 of a pile of nickel dust. What if we try it with something like emeralds? So that has given us an emerald. It's also given us 6 tiny piles of emerald dust, which means we can make a second emerald, and also we have 2 tiny piles of olivine dust as well. So as you can see, the cinnabar ore won't actually process in the industrial grinder, and the main reason for that is that some of the blocks from the various different mods don't work with it, but the vast majority of them do, so feel free to experiment. Now the yields will differ, you might not get the same amount of each thing every time, but this makes mining much more profitable because you do get a lot of other things you wouldn't normally be able to get, such as phosphor dust, glowstone dust, hydrated coal dust, so it's really worth having one of these if you're going to do a lot of mining. So there we go guys, we've built ourselves another very useful machine from the Gregtech mod. There are many more things that it can actually grind up, so you know, really do experiment with putting different things in there and see what results you get. I hope as always that you found this video informative and entertaining. If you have, please like, share and subscribe as it helps myself and the channel out greatly. And as usual, if you've got any ideas for things that you'd like to see in future videos, if there's a particular machine, item or mod that you'd like to see me build and demonstrate, by all means send me a message or leave it in the comments below and I can work on that for you in the future. So until then, I have been UnstableVoltage, this has been How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, and I will see you on the next video. So goodbye for now.